It's a moral obligation for every honorable person to be prosperous, because money in good hands does good, and money in evil hands does evil. Chapter 16. Become prosperity conscious. It would be a fair statement to say that every human being's ultimate aim in life is to be happy. Happiness can only be achieved if we have the following three things: health, wealth, and good relationships. In this chapter, we are going to cover wealth. To lead a happy and fulfilling life, one of the most important ingredients needed is wealth. Wealth is not seen only in terms of a bank balance. It is physical wealth and relationship wealth put together. Wealth corresponds to financial health and financial independence. It is difficult to have spiritual, emotional, and physical health without financial health. Every society is divided into three groups of people: prosperous, poor, and mediocre. The poor and the prosperous can also be divided further into super poor and super prosperous. Each group has a different mindset around money and goals. Our mindset and belief system have a lot to do with the physical manifestation of wealth. Each group gets exactly what it thinks about. An old saying, "Seek and you shall find," holds true in our physical lives. The goal for freedom is primarily driven by the abundance mindset. The goal for survival and comfort is primarily driven by a scarcity mindset. With a scarcity mindset, one can only seek survival and comfort and nothing more. An article published in Cleveland.com on 14th January 2016 said about 70% of people who win a lottery or get a big windfall actually end up broke in a few years, according to the National Endowment for Financial Education. They had a windfall, but mentally, for whatever reasons, they could not accept that they were millionaires. People with a scarcity mindset cannot hold their money. They mindlessly invest or spend it, or it just gets squandered, wasted, or lost. It is well said that if you took the entire wealth of the world and distributed it equally among all people, in less than 2 years, it will probably come back into the same pockets again. Obviously, it's something to do with the mindset. Poverty mindset. There was once a beggar who would sit right in the middle of a busy street with a signboard that read, "I am destitute, please help." He would beg religiously. A young marketing executive used to pass by the beggar every day and occasionally drop some money into his bowl. One day he asked the beggar how much money he made every day. The beggar said, "Close to about $35." It occurred to him to change the signboard to something more compelling for the passerby to donate. He created a new placard that read, "In case you have charity on your mind once a month, why not do it here?" The signboard worked. People stopped to read and started donating. Within 3 hours, the beggar collected close to about $50 and interestingly wrapped up, packed up, and was gone. Had he stayed there for the whole day, he might have been able to collect close to $100. Who knows? Mentally, he had set up his own limit. He had conditioned himself to collect only so much and no more. Let me narrate to you a real-life story. In the mid-1970s, the president of Uganda, Idi Amin, had ordered the expulsion of his country's Asian people. These people, who were settled there for generations, became refugees overnight and fled the country, leaving all their assets behind. A few thousand took refuge as migrants in Canada. all of them literally started from ground zero. Interestingly, here's what I observed. Those who were doing well in Uganda were the same people who started doing well in Canada as well. They worked hard, they were putting in long hours. 12 to 14 hours a day was a common practice. Some of them who started working at shops eventually ended up buying those very shops. I noticed that these people not only became financially stable but also helped others to grow. Similarly, those who were mourners and groaners in Uganda were also the mourners and groaners in Canada too. People who started doing well in Canada despite obstacles had a mindset to go beyond survival to become financially independent, and then they did. The above example clearly establishes a relationship between mindset and prosperity. It's all about the mindset. Prosperity conscious, poverty conscious, and mediocre. First, prosperity conscious. The prosperity conscious have a mindset to seek freedom. The prosperous always think of abundance. They think that the universe provides in abundance for everyone. Prosperity conscious is a state of mind. By bearing the prosperity mindset, one can attract financial well-being and live a happy life. Those who seek freedom end up achieving financial health and much more. Poverty conscious. Those who are poverty conscious have a mindset that seeks only survival. They are the ones who have a sea of opportunities but choose not to go out to achieve them. Poverty conscious is a state of mind. By bearing the poverty mindset, one can never attract financial health and continues to live a sad life. Such people believe that there is scarcity of things or there is not enough. Third, mediocre. The mediocre have a mindset to seek comfort. The mediocre think only of comfort. They are ones who do not want to strive too high, nor do they want to be left out. However, the word mediocre has negative undertones. It implies that the person is average with moderate abilities, and that he is incapable of achieving more than what he actually does. Prosperity conscious busy themselves in attaining financial independence. The prosperity conscious choose their advisors very carefully. They are willing to pay for good advice. It is not unusual that many times the free advice ends up being the most expensive one. Free advice by and large is not expert guidance. Generally, it is given by those who give their opinions without any knowledge or experience. Prosperity conscious people seek freedom, which is achieved through financial independence. They realize that consistency and self-discipline go hand in hand, resulting in freedom. Let's look at what financial independence is. Financial independence. We need to qualify the term financial independence. Financial independence to some means having enough financial reserve for contingencies and retirement. This is called a nest egg, but it is not financial independence. Financial independence is creating a big enough net worth that generates enough passive income that allows us the freedom to do what we want to do, or work because we want to work, not because we have to work. This is called creating a goose that lays golden eggs, and that's what prosperity conscious people work towards. Pretty much all over the world, people start working between the ages of 20 to 25 and retire at 65. But interestingly, in the US, only 5% of them are considered to be financially independent. After 40 or 45 years of working lives, 95% people have nothing to show. They are either dependent on friends, relatives, or social security, or are still working. Only 5% are financially independent. The statistics are alarming for a country that is considered the land of opportunities. Here is a country where everybody has an equal opportunity and the potential to be a millionaire. And yet, most people don't recognize, neglect, or let pass these opportunities. The question is, do we want to fall into the 95% or the 5%? It is estimated that in the year 1950, there were only 1 lakh millionaires. And according to businessinsider.in, dated 14 November 2017, since 2016, there are 36 million millionaires in the world. Shouldn't we also be part of the success story of becoming financially independent? Our objective in life should be freedom through financial independence. By and large, people who are astute with money put it into the following 4 pockets: investment, savings, spending, and donation. All monetary receipts in life should go into these 4 slots of the piggy bank of life. Out of the total money that we receive periodically, how much should go into which slot is the real question. The first 10 to 15% of the total money should go into investment. Out of the balance, the next 10% should go into savings and emergency fund. A minimum of 6 months to 1 year worth of income should be kept as liquid savings. And then whatever is left should be divided between spending and donation. Obviously, here I am not talking of the abject poor who have nothing left after survival. Investing money is for long-term growth. Saving money is to meet short-term emergencies. Spending money is for sustenance. Donation is the philanthropic aspect of earning money. The 4 pockets of the piggy bank can further be condensed into 2 pockets. When money comes, either we invest it or we spend it. What we invest gives us a return, but what we spend is lost forever. Warren Buffett said, "Do not save what is left after spending, but spend what is left after saving." Prosperity conscious people save first and spend what is left after saving, while the poverty conscious do the reverse. Prosperity conscious people create assets. What is an asset? An asset is defined as an investment that generates a passive income. Passive income is money that is automatically generated. It is like a perpetual inflow without your active involvement of skill, labor, and time. You ask anybody, by and large, people will say a house is an asset. It is an asset if it is generating a rental income, not otherwise. Think about this. If you are living in a house, is it giving you any income? The answer is no, it is not. It is a liability. There are upkeep and taxes. You are putting money out of your pocket. It is a part of your wealth, but not your asset in this case. It could be a part of your net worth upon liquidation though. We should look at creating real assets. If you have savings, always buy a second home rather than a second car, as the first home could be your residence and the second one could generate an income. In such a case, the second home automatically becomes your real asset. Besides, the value of the house could appreciate, whereas the value of the car invariably depreciates. Prosperity conscious conserve their resources. Prosperity conscious people know the value of the fortune they earn. They believe in conserving their resources and saving rather than carelessly spending their fortune. They live humble lives because they live for self-satisfaction and not for public screening. It is a misconception that millionaires and multimillionaires are pretentiously flashy and they only buy designer stuff. Shirts worth $3,000 or $4,000, Rolex watches, drive expensive Mercedes and BMWs, or always travel first class. The American businessman and philanthropist Warren Buffett, perpetually ranked among the world's richest men, lives a lifestyle that hasn't changed much since before he became prosperous. He continues to live in the same house in the central Dundee neighborhood of Omaha that he bought in 1958 for $31,500, and his tastes are as humble as before. Infosys co-founder Narayan Murthy, a billionaire, still lives in a middle-class home and travels economy class. His only known indulgence is books. Prosperity-conscious people are culturally and financially rich, but they were already culturally rich before they became financially rich. Being culturally rich is the major distinguishing factor between the prosperity conscious and the poverty conscious. The nouveau rich, that is, new rich, on the other hand, have gained financial wealth but lack cultural wealth. Hence, through their ostentatious behavior, they announce to the whole world that they have arrived. They always look to gain attention. They look to get acceptance from the world because they lack self-acceptance. They are envious of what others have and they resent other people's successes. They don't understand the truth of life, that people make things. Things don't make people. They lack the basic understanding of the difference between net worth and self-worth. They measure self-worth based on net worth. For many people, earning a fortune may seem to be difficult, but so would it be to comprehend the basic and humble lifestyle of these self-made millionaires. Remember, material happiness is temporary. It doesn't last forever. Prosperity conscious are far-sighted. The poor and the mediocre basically think from month to month, such as taking care of their living expenses, mortgages, credit cards, etc. Whereas the prosperity conscious are far-sighted. They think and plan in terms of decades. They prepare accordingly. They think in terms of financial literacy, investments, how to save taxes legally, and how to make their money work for them. Profits and wages. Prosperity conscious people understand the difference between profits and wages. They look to get paid for results, whereas poverty conscious people look to get paid for their time. Prosperity conscious people look for profits. Poverty conscious people look for wages. Prosperity conscious have self-interest in mind, but not selfishness. Self-interest says, for me to win, the world does not have to lose. We can win-win together. Selfishness says, for me to win, I don't care if the world loses. Prosperity conscious people understand the difference between active income and passive income. They learn and plan to pass their assets from one generation to the next. The more a person thinks into the future, the more prosperous he is likely to become in life. The prosperous ask themselves, how can we multiply our income and legally reduce our taxes? Where would we in 10 years from now? According to Stanford.edu, 2007, Mr. Warren Buffett said that he was taxed at 17.7% on the $46 million he made last year, without trying to avoid paying higher taxes. while his secretary, who earned $60,000, was taxed at 30%. People with poor and mediocre mindsets always think of instant gratification. People with poor and mediocre mindsets will do anything to satisfy their impulses. They will not hesitate to take a loan, debt, or charge on credit card, whether or not they can afford it. Their urge to get gratification instantly is higher than their good sense, whereas far-sighted people would not mind delaying gratification because their ultimate goal is freedom and not survival or comfort. Prosperity conscious people develop and live by the discipline of delayed gratification. Forgo little pleasures today and enjoy big tomorrow, or enjoy big today and forgo big pleasures tomorrow. The poor and the mediocre put their lives in the charge of others, which by default turns out to be the prosperity conscious. Prosperity conscious people prefer freedom over comfort, whereas mediocre prefer comfort over freedom. Hence, they stay limited to comfort and never achieve freedom. This principle of far-sighted thinking not only applies to our financial position but to every area of life. Prosperity conscious people apply far-sighted thinking in every area of their lives, even to developing strong relationships and sound health. Isn't the same thing true in our relationships with others? When we think long term, would we not think of giving more respect to others and having better relationships? Wouldn't we think of win-win relationships? Short-term thinking only makes us look for what's in it for me, what can I get from them, or what others can do for me. Such thinking only ends up in using other people as tools for personal gain. Those who use other people only for their own selfish gains end up as very lonely people in life. Prosperity conscious people always develop long-term relationships with no ulterior motive, but which naturally results in financial success. This is nature's law, whether it is family, friends, customers, or anybody for that matter. They always think of how best they can benefit and serve others. How do we measure true wealth? It is not by our bank balance but in the relationships that we build. This is what makes us emotionally strong. Indeed is our true wealth. If you have $1 billion but are emotionally bankrupt, then you are the poorest person on this earth. Just the way there is financial poverty, emotional poverty is real among people. People who carry hatred, greed, impatience and lack empathy are very poor emotionally. Strong relationships are very fulfilling and make people secure in life. Prosperity conscious people always think long term in their physical, financial and emotional life. Is it not wise to think long term about physical health? If the answer is yes, then a person will make time to exercise and eat healthy food regularly. Whereas if you think only of short-term gratification, then you will not mind neglecting exercise and eating junk food, resulting in weight gain and low energy levels. Far-sighted thinking empowers a person with energy to become financially prosperous. Secrets of the far-sighted and potentially prosperous. They make their passion their vocation. They do what they love to do and end up earning money. They strive to make themselves prosperous in all areas of their lives, physically, financially, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. If a person wants to move from a poor or mediocre state to a prosperous state, they must plan their lives with far-sighted thinking. Long-term goals help you develop perseverance. All prosperous people have faced setbacks and challenges in life, but through perseverance have bounced back. The mediocre and the poor give up the moment the going gets tough. Prosperous people go through setbacks one after the other, but they persevere. They do whatever it takes to achieve success and freedom ethically. Instant gratification. The Western world, especially the US, is suffering from a financial crisis because of instant gratification. Instant gratification says, I want it and I want it now, whether I can afford it or not. We pay with credit cards even when it is beyond our means. Even the governments of many countries are spending beyond their means. We keep buying things that we don't need with the money that we don't have to impress the people we don't like. Achievers do today what others don't, so they can enjoy things tomorrow which others won't. They love to be in charge of their lives.